Hi there, it's Jackie here from Stampingjack.com, and it's Monday again. It's Monday the 12th of March, so welcome to another week of Facebook Live. As you join, just make sure to leave me a comment, let me know, say hi and where you're coming from. I've noticed in the last few weeks we've had quite a lot of visitors from outside the UK, so we've had Australia, Germany, the States, Canada, quite a lot, so I'm really pleased about that. So yeah, let me know you're here. So what news have I got for you today? Well, let me see now. Let me just check that we're broadcasting. Just 1 second. Excuse me. I have to say, oh, hi Anne, good to see you. I wasn't sure I was going to make it tonight. Helen, Derbyshire. Hi Helen, I think this is your first time with us, is it? Welcome. Yes, I wasn't sure I was going to make it tonight because I only finished work at 7 o'clock. So I got in the door about, 9 minutes ago, approximately. And I've been in a bit of a rush to get everything organised, but thankfully I was prepared this week, so everything's all ready, because this week I'm going to be showing you the projects that we made at last week's class, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, what news? Oh yes, busy week last week because we had a power cut. So straight after Wednesday night's class, I was just in the process of closing everything up. I turned the light switch off in the craft room and the whole house went dark. Hi Fran, welcome. So that was a bit of a shock. It turned out there were some guys working on the road outside and they'd cut through a cable and yada yada yada. So basically I had them working outside my window till sort of 4 a.m. So yeah, power went off about 10:30 on Wednesday night, and we were finally connected back up to the mains at about 8:30 on Friday. So that was fun, especially as I was supposed to be working from home on Thursday. But of course with no electricity, I had no telephone, no internet, no heating. All I had was basically the gas stove to make a cup of tea on. And then like the electrician guys were coming in and out during the day because they couldn't quite figure out what the problem was. So they've ended up digging up most of the road up and down around the house, and there's still big trenches where they haven't quite come back and filled it all in. So that was a bit of drama. The other one was, of course, yesterday was Mother's Day here in the UK. So I don't know if any of you saw the wonderful breakfast that my son brought to me yesterday morning, made up entirely of cakes and sweeties and chocolate, all my favourite things, which was lovely. And that was accompanied by a jar of face cream, because, you know, every mum needs her face cream to keep looking young and beautiful. And I was also serenaded by some songs on his ukulele, which he'd been practicing. So that was, it was very, very sweet. And I have to say, it's anyone who's done it knows that being a mum is not easy. It's hard work, and I'm very thankful that I don't have much to complain about when it comes to my son. He's healthy, he's happy, we don't have any particular challenges. But you know, he's a 10-year-old boy, and he makes me tear my hair out sometimes. But then, you know, when you've got woken up in the morning with that lovely little face and all that love and the hugs and the snuggles, everything else just kind of melts away. And of course, the big thing was that he made my card. So that was fun, because I had to relinquish control of my craft room on Saturday whilst he was out here making it, and I was not allowed to look. And this is what he came up with. There was a picture of it, but I just thought this was just so cute. And then on the inside, there we go, got hugs and kisses and love you and all that. But being the professional that I am, I did notice something very impressive on it, which is here, where it says, this stamp actually says thank you. And he's managed to partially ink it up like I've shown him before and just get the bit that he wanted. So isn't he a clever fellow? So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And then he asked me, he said, does it make the shelf? Because I have my cards displayed on a shelf in my craft room. So he was very pleased that when I told him that it did make the shelf. So I shall be moving that across to there once I'm done with this evening. But yes, something to be very thankful for yesterday. As I say with children, sometimes they drive you bananas, but then it's the little moments and the little things like that that just swell your heart and make you thankful that they're part of your life. And on the subject of being thankful, there's one thing I wanted to say thank you to all of you guys for, which is that I've been working really hard over the last few months and weeks to kind of develop my Stampin' Up! Business. And I've been working really hard through this Facebook page to try and develop that. And this week I managed to make 300 likes, which was yay! I was really pleased about that because I've been doing this been really working the Facebook thing for just under a year. So it's really starting to pay off, and I'm starting to see results, which is really, really great. And, you know, I've been thinking about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and how much I enjoy that. And what I really enjoy more than anything else, more than the crafting, is actually the connections that I get to make with people like you guys, like people at my classes. And I really, really love the interaction. And I love, you'll have noticed that quite a lot of ladies, when they make a card that they're happy with, they'll share it and I'll post it up on the page. And I just love to see people having fun and crafting. And that's one of the things about being a demonstrator is that, you know, yes, we sell the supplies for what we make, but it's much, much bigger than that. We have what we call a statement of the heart, which drives what we do. And one of the things is basically to share what we love. Brixham, hi Lynn, good to see you. And I really, really love sharing what I love. And my team over the last few months has grown as well. So quite a lot of my regular customers have taken the decision to sign up because the sign-up deal is just so fantastic between now and the end of the month. So we're having a nice little group getting together. Our class ladies are lovely. And basically what I'm trying to say is that everything feels good right now. Fingers crossed it keeps that way. So thank you all for your support. I really, really do appreciate it. And every like and comment and everything else that I see on the page just gives me a little happy feeling inside. So thank you all. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get down to business, shall we? Hi, Charlotte. Good to have you. So for this evening, I've got, as I say, the cards from last week's class. And we did some Easter cards and we did a Mother's Day card. Now, the Mother's Day card I gave to my mother-in-law. So I don't have a sample to show you, but I'm going to adapt it anyway because, you know, Mother's Day is finished now. But I did post a photo of it on the Winnipeg in Canada. Hi, Sharon. I did post a picture of it on my Facebook page. So if you scroll down through the posts, you'll see the original. But I'm just going to grab my pieces just here. Okay, and we're going to use some more of the Petal Palette. Not Petal Palette. Painted Love paper. And we're going to use the Petal Palette Sweet... stamp set, and we're also going to use the You're Inspiring stamp set. We're going to use this one quite a lot tonight. So what I'm going to make is a Z-fold card, which is a really, really easy way to add just a little bit of extra interest to your card without going in for really complicated folds. Now, I know a couple of weeks ago, some of you requested that I do some videos on some card folds, and I am working on those, so keep your eyes peeled for those. But this one is just, I use this a lot, and it's just a super simple way to add a little bit of extra fanciness to your card. So I've taken a card, which is just a piece of A4 cut in half lengthwise, scored and folded in half, and then we just fold this side back on itself. And that's it. Brisbane, Australia, wow, hi Angela. And that's our Z-fold. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So let's just grab a piece of scrap paper. So to start with, I am going to take this image from the You're Inspiring set, and I'm just going to create a bit of background stamping just to create a little bit of extra texture and interest. So the cardstock I've got is Blushing Bride. And all I'm going to do is just stamp tone on tone with Blushing Bride all around the edge, like so, on my own shot. There we go. I'm not bothering to go into the center. because I'm going to put a sentiment panel there, so I don't need to fill up that space. So we just go all the way around, and I can imagine this stamp being really fun on a light coloured cardstock in all different colours, for like a children's card, or even for, like, say, a champagne or a celebration. So there we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, on the original card I had this panel here. We're just going to glue the Very Vanilla onto the Early Espresso I'm using. I love Early Espresso and Blushing Bride together. I think they're just a gorgeous colour combination. And then I've got the same dimensions here. I'll post, as usual, I'll post all of the dimensions and supplies on my blog in the next day or so, so you can, as well as the video, so you can watch it back and you'll have all of the dimensions to hand, so you can make alongside. All right. So these two are the same size, and I'm just going to stamp a sentiment on here, which is from the Petal palette, and I'm going to do that Life is So Much Better With You in it. Okay. And I'm going to do that in Early Espresso. There we go. And we just pop that in the centre, like so. All right. So that's our stamping done. No, it's not actually. I'm going to bring this in. We've got a little scrap, and I'm going to take, so for the Mother's Day card, I took see the Happy Mother's Day here? What I've done is I've actually cut this stamp set in half so I can get the Happy Mother's Day on its own. But for this one, I'm going to make it a Happy Birthday. So we'll just, and this is going to be in Early Espresso as well. So this is just a little scrap of Very Vanilla, because I'm going to take my label punch, and I'm just going to punch that out like so. Let's just line it up. Trying to look at it through the camera. There. Okay, that's that. And then we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. So like I said, so what it's going to do is this is going to be here, and then this panel is going to be here. And what we had done is I had Mum on here. But instead of Mum, I'm going to make it a bit more general purpose, and I'm going to cut out the word You from my paper. So let me bring a big shot round. Okay. I'm just going to place my paper down, and I can just cut out all three of these all at once. Okay. I love these large letters framelits that I have. They are a big investment, I will say, and it took me a while to work up to splurging on them, shall I say. But now that I have them, they are so worth it. I use them a lot. They're really handy. And they're particularly good for when I'm making cards for my son's friends for their birthdays, because of course kids love cards with their names on them. So it makes it really easy to personalise them, which is great. He loves it, and so do they. Okay, so we'll put that back there. Let's clear a bit of space for myself now. Okay. Alright, so let's bring back in our card. Don't need this anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our adhesive strips. These are perfect for doing this sort of stuff, rather than trying to fiddle about with putting a million little dimensionals. Okay, all you do is you just tear a strip off. Okay, we'll start with the Y, just like so. Snip. And then we'll put a little here. I mean, I use these strips a lot for shaker cards, but again, if you want to just, for adhering stuff like this, where it's a bit skinny, Oops. It's just really, really handy. I've managed to peel. Oh, I've got lots of wows. What was that for? What have I done? Yay. Okay, that's the U. They fit perfectly, Esther, as if by magic. I know some of the ladies on Wednesday when we were making this, they said, you know, can we do something other than mum? And I said, yes, you can. You can do any word you like as long as it's got 3 letters, because that's all there's space for. All right. There we go. And then if you don't use all your strip, you just pop it back on the sheet, ready for the next time. So there we go. Right, so now all we'll do is what I tend to do when I'm trying to line something up like this, when I've got 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the U up on the outside, on one side, and then the Y to the left, making sure that I've got the same gap either end. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit too high. Let's just pop that down a little further. There we go. And then I can just take my O and line it up in between these 2 letters. Okay. Like so. Now my U is a bit crooked. Hang on. And another tip is when you're using your strips or any kind of adhesive, your dimensionals too, and placement is important, is that if you don't press down straight away, you still got a little bit of, like I was able to pull that up because it hadn't stuck fully. And now when I'm happy with the placement, I press it down and then it doesn't want to come up again. So it's just a way to give yourself a little bit of extra time to get it right. Now, I need my glue dots. Then I'm going to take my happy birthday. And I'm just going to put a glue dot on either end, like so. Whoop, that one didn't want to come off. Let's try again. There we are. And then we're just going to stick that. In fact, I want my glue dot a little bit further in. Doo-doo-doo. And there we have it. Happy birthday, you. Right. Then what I'm going to do is just place these 2. You want to make sure that the panel behind doesn't stick out behind the panel in front. And then this is the trickiest bit of doing a Z-fold card, is that when you come to stick this panel on, remember, you've only got half a piece here, so you only want glue on this side of your panel. So turn it over, making sure you check which side is the one that has to be stuck down. And then you just put a little bit of glue and we'll line that up so that it's centered. Okay, and then if you want to, what you can do is you can take a little pencil and just make a little mark here and here, okay, to line up this panel. But I'm just going to eyeball it because if this panel is in the center, then this one should be too. And I've got my glue here, so if it's not quite right, I've got a little bit of wiggle room. So again, I'm going to place it, but you'll see I'm not pressing it. So I'm just going to fold that over, and I can see it needs to move in slightly that way. There we go. And now I'm going to press it down, now that I'm happy with its position. And there we have it. Z-fold happy birthday card. Simple, 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 but I'm sure if you give this card to anyone, they'll be amazed because it's just bang for your buck, as I like to call it. So there we go, that's card number 1. So let me just clear some of these away and get ready for the second one. I don't need that. I don't know, I've changed my layout this week and I think I seem a bit more crowded than normal, so I'm sure we'll get the hang of it in a minute. Okay. Oh, thanks guys, glad you like them. Right, or like it, I should say. Alright, so next, let's move on to some Easter themed cards, and we're going to keep with the You're Inspiring stamp set because that works really, really well. And like I said, I like the fact that it's got the spring themed flowers, but I think you can do a lot more with it than just Easter. So we're going to start with this card here. Okay, just gather the bits. That. And we've got that. Okay. Right, here we go. So we start with a very vanilla card base, just folded in half. And then I've got a Daffodil Delight panel, and I've die cut the aperture here from it using our Lots of Labels dies. Okay. And now what I've got is I've got a piece of very vanilla, and that's going to go behind. It's what we're going to do our stamping on. So when you're doing something like that, what I suggest is that you make your panel behind the same width as the panel that you're working on, but give yourself some room top and bottom, so you've got room to move it around and trim it if you need to. Okay. Now again, what you can do, where's my pencil? Just to give yourself a guide when you're stamping. Okay, I'm just going to put that there, because I'm just going to give myself a little line here. Just going to go around so that when I'm doing my placement on my sheet, I know where my aperture is going to be. Okay, so we have that. Then I'm going to take this image here. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp that. Scrap in Pear Pizzazz, which is a lovely soft green colour, which I really enjoy using. Alright, there we go. So all I'm going to do is stamp it. Actually no, I'm going to do my greeting first. So we did Happy Easter, but I'm going to make this a happy birthday card. So I'm going to bring back in my happy birthday, and I'm going to stamp that first. Okay, so I'm going to pop that, if I can see it, there we go, at the top. Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp across, like so, and then I'm going to get my blender pen. And this is a great way, if you're really admiring the blends, right, and you think, do you know what, again, it's a big investment, it's a lot, and I'm not sure that I can afford that, or I want to invest that much. This is a really good way of getting blending and colouring without having to invest that much, and that's in getting yourself one of our blender pens. They actually come in a pack of 3. And what you can do with these is you can take the ink, so if you've got an ink pad already, okay, then you can use your ink pad. I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. So we'll just press the lids together, like so, and that gives us a little well of ink in the front. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blender pen, I'm going to pick up the colour, let's put those there, okay, whoops. And I'm just going to add my colour. And there we go. So we're just going to do that across all of them. You can come back in and like that you can add darker colors. You can do as you please. You can add a little bit, or you can add more. So you can see here I'm doing it quite lightly on the outsides but darker in the middle. So I'm making my trumpets quite dark. And you can go back over it if you like to get more colour in there. So I love this, as I say, it's a great way to, even if you want to sort of practice your blending and stuff before you invest in the alcohol markers. This is just a really inexpensive way of getting even more out of your ink pads. Because you know, you've got your ink pads already, haven't you? So why not use them? There we go, we've got a yellow one behind here. So this was the quiet portion of the class on Wednesday as everybody was busy colouring their daffodils. I don't know. I've never really been a huge fan of colouring, but it's grown on me over the last little while. How about you guys? Do you like colouring? It seems to be something that people either love or hate. Like I said, colouring was never my forte. I am not artistic, which is why I stamp, because it makes up for a lot. But recently, the last few months and so, I've spent a lot of time with my mother-in-law, who has dementia, and one of the few things she enjoys doing is colouring. So we've got those stress books that we use, and we just sit and colour together, which is really nice. So now I'm going to take my Pear Pizzazz. I'm going to go over the stems, and I'm not being careful about it. You know me, I'm never careful about this stuff. You prefer this to the blenders, and yeah, you know what? They work great. They work great. And the blenders, as you say, they can be expensive. I find that for proper blending and colouring, the blenders are the best. But, you know, for the majority of what we do, we're not professional artists. Your blender pen and your ink pad will be absolutely fine. There you go. Nearly there. It's not quite like watching paint dry. Right, there we go. And then to clean off your pen, all you do is scribble on a piece of paper till it comes clear. So you don't even need one for each colour or anything like that. You know, as I say, you get a pack of 3 and that's more than enough for what you're going to need. Okay, so we'll close our ink pads up. And I'm going to bring back in our pieces. Okay, so we've got our cutout panel and now we've got our stamped panel. So first things first is I'm just going to rub out this line. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to bring back in my adhesive strips, and I don't need to go all the way around this because this is not a shaker card, okay, but I do want to give it a good bit of support. So I'm going to do a bit at the top and a bit at the bottom. Easy, Lynn, to clean the pens. I was going to do that with a proper marker. To clean the pen, all you do is, let me get some ink on here, okay? So you've got ink on the bottom, on the top like that. And all you do is scribble like so until there's no more colour on there. And then that's ready to go on any other colour. Very easy, very easy. Okay, so let's snip that one off. Oops. And then I'm going to put a little bit here. A little bit here, a little here, and a little here. Okay, And I also want, no worries Lynn, that's what I'm here for. And then I also want some along the bottom, like so. Okay, I haven't put some in the corners, but you'll see why in a second. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the bits around the aperture. That one's gone already. There we go. Okay, bring back in our stamped piece and then just hold your panel above or over it until you're happy with the placement. And I want it like that. Okay, and then you just press down and it's stuck. Now, the reason I didn't add anything up here was because depending on where this went, I might have ended up with it further up, in which case all I would have needed was a little bit of glue. But I can see I've got a gap, so I'm just going to put, I don't need a whole strip, I just want a little bit at the top. I could use just a regular dimensional for this, but I've got the adhesive strip out, so that's why I'm using that. All right. Then we bring back in our base. Okay, now the other thing to do is just double check. Can you see here I've got a little bit of overhang? So I'm just going to take my scissors and trim the back. There we go. And in actual fact, I've got a bit of a gap there as well. So just for neatness, I'm just going to trim this off as well. There we go. All right. So then we peel our pieces off and then place that down on our card base. Okay. I'm going to add a little spritzing. So I've just got my marker. I'm using the brush tip and I'm just going to flick the nib from into the lid to create bit of a splat. Okay, there we go. All right, and then final touch for this is just a little bow. I'm going to show you how to tie a bow. So I like to do them on the reel. Okay, so what I do is I make a loop with one side and then another loop. So I've got two bunny ears. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is tie a knot. So cross them over like so, and then take this one and pull it through. Okay, and there we have it. And then you just feed it through until you're happy. Okay, this ribbon is great. It ties beautifully, makes it easy. Some ribbons can be a bit tricky. Okay, there we go. And then when I'm happy with it, I'm just going to trim the ends down like so, and like so, and then glue dots are where? Oh, here they are. Where they go? There we are. Okay, so then we just, where's the end? There it is. So we'll just pop a glue dot on the back and then down onto our card. And there we go. We've got a gorgeous spring themed happy birthday card. Where's this one? It's Happy Easter. Cool, huh? Right, so that's card number 2. Now to say card number 3, we're going to continue on with the same stamp set, and this is the card that we're going to make this time. Okay, so we're going to use the big image. So let me just gather my pieces together. Okay, so we've got our card base. They are very cheerful, Anne, aren't they? We've got a piece of, so this is Pear Pizzazz, this is Daffodil Delight, this is Very Vanilla, and I've already stamped the large image on here, and then I've stamped it again on a scrap, just the 2 tips like so. All right, and then I've got a scrap, and I've already stamped my Happy Easter. Okay, and then I've cut this oval using my scalloped ovals set. So I'm just going to crack on with the colouring for this one. All right, so again, exactly the same as before. using our blender pens. Okay, so I'm going to start with the green. Bring that in so you can see. So I'm going to start with the dark at the bottom, and then just, you can see that it just gradually gets lighter as I distribute the ink. So it's an easy way to get that natural blended effect. Okay. Oh, and I also got a daffodil with my breakfast on Sunday morning, which was very nice. I do like daffodils. It's very sweet. I always like, when I see the daffodils, I know that spring is on the way. I know that a few of them got caught out recently with the recent snow. A lot of them were just about to come out, and then the snow came, and I think it set them back a little, but I'm sure they'll recover. There we go. Okay, so there's my green. Now I'm going to do my yellow. So again, I want my centers darker. So I'm going to start there. Okay. And then we get lighter as we go around. And you can see quite often on these line drawings, they give you a guide as to where it's likely to be dark, which is really helpful. As I say, for someone like me who, you know, I'm not artistic in that sense, so it just helps. I guess it's just like anything else, you got to practice it. And I've been having fun with my blends recently. I've been doing the Stampin Blends Club for the last couple of months, so we've been playing around with that and doing some new projects. And of course, the more I colour, the better I get at it, strangely enough. So I'm going to add a little bit more to my trumpet in here, and a bit more into this one. In fact, I don't know why I'm putting so much effort into that, because I'm going to colour it again. Alright, so for this one, we're only going to colour the flowers. Okay, because we're going to cut them out. So a bit of fussy cutting, which we all know and love. I love the squeaking. Alright, nearly there. Stay with me, ladies. Alrighty. Okay. And there we have it. I'll put these away. Then I'm going to bring in my paper snips, and I'm just going to trim around these flowers. You can see that I'm not really moving my scissors, I'm moving the card or the paper, which makes it much easier to get a deep and nice cut. Oh, thank you, La Familia. Remember you from last week. Thanks for sharing. Do feel free to share, everybody. That makes my videos get even further, which is fantastic. Okay. I think last week I had something like 7,500 people saw my video, which is like just staggering. It was amazing. And that's thanks to you guys sharing. So thank you so much for that. Right, so that's one. Now on to the next one. So I have to say, again, a bit like the colouring, fussy cutting is not something that comes naturally to me, but it's grown on me. And if you pick the right image that's forgiving, then I think it works really nicely. And this is a great way to just add a little bit of extra interest to this card, a little bit of extra dimension, really quite easily. There we go. Okay, so we've got our two pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wriggle them a little bit to give them a little bit of texture. Because of course flowers aren't flat, are they? There we go. So just squish them up a little bit. No great technique to it. Okay. And then we'll bring our glue dots. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to die cut this piece. Let me just grab my die. Bring back in the big shot. Okay. So we'll just line our oval up over our image, like so. Okay. There we are. And there we have our panel. Right, put that away. I think we're nearly ready to assemble. So let's bring our Wink of Stella pen. And we're just going to put a little bit of Stella on our flowers. Because that just makes it look even fancier, doesn't it? Here we go. And then glue dot. Where's the end? There it is. Actually, no, I am going to use a mini dimensional because I actually want to pop these up a little. Okay, so mini dimensional on the back. Like so. And the same for this one. Like so. Look at that. How cute is that? Really lovely. All right. Then it's just simply a case of glue. Oh, I agree, Sharon. Wink of Stella all the way. We have a standing joke at our classes every month is, you know, do we ever finish a card without a bit of Wink of Stella on it? It's always the final touch on most of them. I think it's everybody's favourite. Okay, there we go. And then that's going to be popped up. So get our dimensionals on the back, and then I only want one on this side because I want room on this side to put my sentiment panel in. So make sure I've got it on the correct side. There we go. All right, so now we've got our sentiment, and I'm going to give this a little flag. Hi Martha, Colorado, welcome. Is it cold there at the moment? There we go. All right, and I'll trim this end down in a moment. And then I'm going to bring in got my scrap here, and I'm going to use our ribbon border punch. Yeah, Martha, I think we all do, don't we? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this in here and punch, okay? But I want it a bit longer than that. So the way to get it lined up is, can you see this pattern here? It's nice today. Oh, that's good. So in order to get yours lined up, okay, what you do is you just get the panel. I'm going to want it this way. All right, so can you see I'm just getting the bit that I've already punched lined up with the pattern that's on here. Okay, and then what that means is that when I punch again, it just continues the pattern on seamlessly, which is brilliant. So really, a lot of people don't really realise that that's how you line up our border punches. So you could go all the way across a page if you were so inclined, and they'd all line up beautifully. Right, so now we're ready to assemble. Let's move that. Clear some space. So we've got our card base, which again is in Pear Pizzazz. Folder. Okay, and then we've got our Very Vanilla, which again is just glued. The glue is running out. I think I might have to switch to a new one in a second. Alright, so it's glued to a panel of the Daffodil Delight. I love this, the Daffodil Delight and the Pear Pizzazz for springtime cards. It's just so soft and pretty. Okay, and then again just glue onto the back of this. And then down. Okay, so now we've got our sentiment panel. We've got our greeting. And we've got our border. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little glue along the bottom edge of my greeting. I don't want too much. Thanks, Jeannie. They're such a pretty flower, aren't they? Okay, now, also to know, with our ribbon die here, ribbon punch, is that you can use either side. So this was lovely and lacy, and that's the one we're going to use. But if you wanted something that was a little less girly, but just had a little bit of interest, all right, you can get just like a little scallop there. See that? But we're going to do it like this. So we're just going to pop it there. Line it up. I'm going to move that back slightly so it's not sticking out. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to trim the back. Like so. And then I'm going to pop this one down on our dimensionals. Here we are. And then just a little bit of, in fact, I'm going to just give this a little wiggle, just to give it a bit of dimension. Oh, hi Melanie, welcome. I hope it's not your last time. Alright, and then we're just going to slide that in behind. And that's why I didn't put a dimensional on this side, so it gave me that freedom to just do that. Okay, and there we have it. Another gorgeous, fresh Easter card. But again, you could quite easily have used a happy birthday or any other greeting that you wanted to, which is really nice. I don't know if it would be appropriate really, but I did actually think that this layout would work really well for a sympathy card, maybe in different colours. I don't know if daffodil would be appropriate for a sympathy card. Maybe someone can help me out on that one. Right, so we've got a bit of a mess going on here, so bear with me 1 second while I clear some space. Yet again, you should see it last week. Oh, it was so hilarious. After I'd done this, my table to the right of where I work was just a mess. And I mean, when I say a mess, it was just ridiculous. Just piles and piles of stuff. Right, so that's where we're at. That's card number 3. So we're on to our last card. Right, this last card, okay, is using the Beautiful Day stamp set. And I love the images in this one. I love look at the size of this butterfly and this flower. This is the stamp set that we're using in this month's Stampin' Blends Club. Oh, hearts! Thank you, ladies. Thank you. So yes, and I've been doing a lot of playing around with these two images, and I love a really big, bold image because it just makes your card come together really, really quickly. But also, when you're looking at your stamps, don't forget about some of the... You should see the mess. I'll post a picture, Anne. I'll post a picture. You will feel miles better when you see it. It is shocking. Absolutely shocking. But yes, when you're looking at your stamp sets, don't forget little images like this. They often go unnoticed, and they can be really great. And I've used this one as to basically create the card. So let me show you what I mean. So here we are. Look at that. And this is so easy, but you could do this in any sort of colours and it would just be brilliant. So I'm going to stick with the colours that we already made. So we've got lemon lime twist. It wouldn't be a Facebook Live without a lemon lime twist card. I don't think I've done one for months. You think it would be okay for sympathy? Yes, Melanie, I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay, so we've got lemon lime twist, we've got berry burst, and then we've got a piece of whisper white. And we're going to stamp in lemon lime twist, berry burst, and night of navy. So I'm going to do the greeting first. All right, so we're going to do the happy birthday, and we're going to do that in night of navy. I love how these three colours go together so nicely. There we go. Line that up in the centre. Okay, and then we'll take the small image. I actually want a smaller block than that. There we go. So I'm going to stamp it first of all in lemon lime twist. So just randomly, like so. Clean it off, and then ink it up in berry burst. Add a bit more, a few up here, and I think we need go, and then I think I need a little bit more lemon lime twist, so we'll put some here and a little bit here and here. And now a bit of berry burst. There we go. Okay, just creating a nice background there. All right, and then we're just going to bring in our rhinestones. And I'm just going to add a few. I'm not going to add them to all of the flowers because I think that would be overkill. I want to keep this card simple, so I'm just going to add a few just to create some nice accents. Ooh, you shared something off of Google, Fran. I'll have to have a look at that later. Wonder what it is. There we go, and let's put one there. Okay, and then that's it. Actually, no, I'm going to do something on the inside as well. Okay, so we're going to pop that onto our berry burst layer. And then glue that onto our lemon lime twist. Make sure I've got my card base the right way around. How many of you have ever glued your sentiment panel on upside down to your card base? Hey, time to confess. We won't judge. We've all been there. Okay, so now for the inside, let's bring back our little set. And I'm just going to stamp along the bottom. Like so, and then do our lemon lime twist. Yeah, I don't know how many times I've done it, Fran. But you can always rescue it. What I tend to do is just cut it off and then stick it to another card base. Yeah, we're all guilty. We're all guilty. It's that horrible sinking feeling when you realise it, isn't it? Oh. Like when you drop your ink pad on your project. Oh. All right. There we go. Yeah, very sensible. That's quite right, Anne, and that's why I wanted to show you, because I'm guilty of it myself, especially when there's a really big image in a card. That's the one that everybody goes for, but you know me in creating my own backgrounds and stuff, and I just, you know, you could do up a load of these in no time at all. And I'll bet if you were to look through your stamp collection, you've got images just like this in all sorts of various different sets that you've got. You know, and again, if you did, say you had like a little circle or a small geometric shape, this would look great as a boys kind of card in boys colours. So go look at your stamp sets and find these tiny little sort of builder background images, and you'll be amazed. They're everywhere. Most sets have something like this in there. And as you say, they're very easy to overlook. So there we go. Let's bring back in our cards. So we've got our 2 Easter themed cards here, and then we've got our happy birthday, and we've got our Fold Mother's Day happy birthday card. So there we go. I like that these 2 can be easily adjusted like this one. That's that stamp set. I just love the fact that, again, you could just add a happy birthday and it's a beautiful spring birthday card. Can you guys see those? Let's see. There we go. So there we go. All 4 cards for this week. Which one? We had the big question. Which one is your favourite? Tammy, you like them all and you love them all. Oh, we've got some fence sitters here. Oh, lots of lovely hearts. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Robert from Canada. Wow, what time is it there? It's love them all. Right, yeah, what time is it? It's just coming up for 9 p.m. here in the UK. Oh, I'm loving all these hearts. You missed the beginning. Don't worry, Martha. You can just watch it on the replay. It's fine. Thanks, Sharon. Easter cards and the last one. Yeah, Lynn. Do you know, I think this is my favourite. It's just so simple and easy to do. They're always my favourite cards. 5 p.m. Oh, right, okay. It's not too bad then, the time difference. Thought it would be better. Thought it would be worse. Right. So there we go. There's our 4 cards for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you here. Hope to see you again next week. And if you'd like, I'd love it if you shared this video so that more people could watch it. I'm really enjoying it. You like this daffodil, Sandra? Oh, that is a nice memory. You're on vacation, Tammy. Wow. Right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all again next week. Bye.